Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So the Red Bull X2014 competition glitch method that I uploaded yesterday is actually viable to run at more than a single event, unlike most of the other glitch cars. So I did try and run it at Le Mans and it just wasn't to my liking there. However, I then went over to Sardinia and basically jumped in to see if it was, viable enough there, because, well, Sardinia is the easiest of the kind of money method kind of runs, races, whatever you want to call them, that we currently have. So I'm going to show you the basics here. So the car itself, again, like I said yesterday, is 3 million from the Gran Turismo dealer. Now, what I'm going to do with this video, I'm going to still kind of keep in the build and the tuning setup because, people may want to know that if they haven't watched the video from yesterday. So if you've already watched the previous guide, nothing's changed. Feel free to kind of skip in to see the strategy we're going to run at Sardinia with this car. Now, for those of you that kind of may have not seen it, once you bought the car, this is what you want to do in terms of setup. You need to run intermediates and racing hards. You need to start the build on intermediates or else it will not go down to 600. Now, anti-roll bar, like yesterday, is at 10. At the rear, it's at 10 as well. Damping ratio compression is 40 at the front, and then again it's 40 at the rear. Damping ratio expansion is 50 at the front, and then again at the rear it is 50. Then we're going to move on to natural frequency, which is 5.50 at the front, and then again at the rear is 5.50. Negative camber angle is 0 at the front and 0 at the rear. Toe angle, this one's important, it's 0.09 outwards at the front and then 1.00 outwards at the rear. Then on the LSD side, you've got 5, and then on the sensitivity for braking, it is 7. You want to have the fully customizable racing transmission equipped. Set that to 360. And then up here, we're going to run ballast. We're going to run that at 86. And then we're going to run the ballast position at minus 42. Power restrictor, we are not restricting power to this car. So we'll move on to the downforce next. And at the front, it's 1300 all the way to the left. And then at the rear, it's almost all the way to the left. It's at 1645. Then the rest of it, nothing needs changing. Well, like I said yesterday, I do recommend having your kind of brake balance around about -4 or -5. Feel free to pause at any moment. So the event we're going to be running is a little bit different. You're going to head into Europe, and then just down at the bottom here, it's in Italy and it's the Sardinia road track. It's the World Touring Car 800 event. Ensure you enter it on your intermediate tyres. So this is from my Tokyo one, but I'm going to show you my recommended assists. You want manual transmission, number 1 on traction control, a driving line so you've got something to follow, braking area on, and then I also recommend having your active stability management on and your counter steering assistance set to strong. Okay, so obviously to get this car running, you will be starting on the intermediates. It may feel kind of weird and like there's not too much performance in those tyres. However, quite quickly you are going to come off of them. You are still much quicker on this event running the inters than these kind of GT3 cars are running, hard, softs and mediums. So I'm going to show you my outlap and just kind of show you how to run it. Don't worry about hitting the cars. It will kind of give you damage, but it won't lose you that clean race bonus. Put them on whatever difficulty you want. You are going to wipe the floor of them anyway. The best way to kind of run this car is short shifting. So as you kind of exit the corner, you want to shift up a gear or two, and it will just keep you with full traction, and it won't kind of cause the traction control to kick in as much as it usually would, which is kind of the main issue that will kind of bog you down getting out of the corners. The 100% fastest way to run this car is go faster than you think through the corners. This is the kind of car that's kind of based on a Formula 1 car of the future, I guess. Essentially, the faster you hit those corners, the more downforce the car generates, causing you to be able to hit these corners at some absolutely eye-watering speed. Now, currently, this is 100% the fastest method around Sardinia. It is a two pit stop method, not a single. You are going to have to pit twice, so you're going to pit once to come off the inters, then you're going to do a big long hard stint run, and then again you're going to pit in a little bit later on and then just go straight to the end. So in terms of fuel economy and tyre wear, it's actually much more manageable here than it is at Tokyo. Again, for me personally, and I know a lot of other people, Sardinia is just so easy because you haven't got to worry about weather or anything like that. It's all about just get yourself to the front, do your 15 laps, and you are over and done with. For me, this build essentially feels like what it'd be like running a Tomahawk on Sardinia. As you can see, we made a little mistake here. I'm actually going to show you up until I overtake first place. So even with a mistake, you're going to see that it's just so easy to just get past the AI. They are absolutely zero match for this car. You may be able to see that the car is very kind of violently shaking. It will vibrate your controller quite a bit. Don't kind of worry about it. It's very kind of controllable and you do get used to it quite often. It's not the image or your eyes deceiving you. The car is genuinely shaking about quite a bit, but you're not really going to be focusing on the car model. You're going to be kind of looking ahead, hitting up those corners. So as you can see, we're just going to dive into first place now already, and that's pretty much job done. I recommend personally at the end of lap 3 to pit in and get yourself off those intermediates. They've basically got to the end of the life. They're not too bad, but now we are going to go onto tyres much more suited for this event. Like I said though, you will have to start or kind of make your build on inters. You cannot then change onto hards and try and get in, because it will give you an exclamation mark. This way, running the inters, it will give you 600 dot on, and you can basically just jump in and sort of, you know, take on the event as you wish. So obviously we've gone onto the hard tyres, we've filled the car to full, and away we go. Now you want to kind of set the fuel mix to 6. We've done a kind of sprint run. Now we're going to set it to 6 and kind of settle in for a longer stint on these hard tyres. As you can see, it's going to kind of use a lot less fuel and it's not going to be as powerful. However, short shifting is definitely still the way to go. Then I recommend jumping in at the end of lap 9 and again just putting another set of hards on, because we've got to the end of these tyres lives, and we're again just going to fill the car to full. This will give you enough tyre life and enough fuel to get yourself across that finish line and finish off the event. So I'm not really sure what Polyphony are going to do when it kind of comes to update day, whether they'll kind of just patch this car out or they'll keep it in. It's not really the most known method. Still at this point, I don't really know where this kind of method came from or where it originates from. So if you do know, feel free to just leave the comment and I will kind of add them into the description just to say kind of, you know, thank you very much, because it really is helpful to be able to actually use one of these, you know, glitch builds on, you know, more than a single track, whereas a Tomahawk you can't run it at Le Mans or here due to the racing tyres being needed. So as you can see, we're about to go across the finish line. We, you know, kind of ran into absolutely no problems at all. It was quite a clean run. Obviously the tyres are pretty much worn off at this point, but we're basically just going to drag ourselves across that finish line in way under 25 minutes, making this definitely the best method as of 1.21 in terms of running Sardinia. So overall we did a 24:06.064. We did a fastest lap on lap 5 of a 1 minute 30.060. So it's nice and easy. Obviously you haven't got to worry about the weather when running at this event. The only kind of frustration I guess would be running those inters early on, but they really aren't too bad just considering how overpowered this car is. You're going to earn around about 727,500 within that time, and we're going to get a nice little 3-star roulette ticket to basically reward us for our driving. So this is it for this build, unless it, you know, changes again with the next update. I'm not really going to cover it anymore. I feel like I've kind of covered it where I need to. You can, you know, run it at Le Mans. I just wouldn't recommend. I'd definitely say this is more kind of geared towards, well, mainly Tokyo and then towards Sardinia if you kind of prefer that event. Obviously, it's so easy because you don't have to worry about any variable weather or any rain or, you know, all that good stuff. So it's completely up to you where you want to run it. As far as I'm concerned, I've fully covered this method and I won't be touching on it again unless it changes or gets patched. So hopefully this one's, you know, around for a while. Big shout out to my channel members and a massive thank you for your kind of monthly support. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, turn those notifications on and all that good stuff, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers guys.